Let me ask you something. Do you ever get to the end of the day and think, why am I so tired? Not just physically tired, but mentally drained, emotionally spent, spiritually flat. And here's the thing. You might not even be doing that much. You're not climbing mountains or pulling all-nighters. But the exhaustion, it's there, every day. And if you're not careful, that tired feeling, it doesn't just pass. It turns into something worse. You stop enjoying things you used to love. You cancel plans because you just don't have the energy. You lose your motivation, your spark, and slowly, sometimes without realizing it, you start to disappear from your own life. And here's what no one tells you. It's not just age. It's your energy being drained, quietly, constantly, and often by things you don't even notice. So in this video, we're going to talk about the 5 biggest energy drains people face after 60. Some of them might surprise you. More importantly, I'll show you how to protect your energy and take it back. Because this next chapter of your life, it's supposed to be rich with joy, peace, freedom, and fulfillment. But that won't happen if your energy is being pulled in 100 different directions every day. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand what's been stealing your energy and how to finally reclaim it. Let's begin. Sometimes the biggest things that wear us down aren't dramatic at all. They're quiet. They slip into our days without us noticing. And before we know it, they've become habits. Habits that chip away at your energy, your motivation, even your self-esteem, without you realizing it's happening. Because here's the truth. It's not just what you do that shapes your life. It's what you repeat. So let's talk about the small, everyday choices that might be draining you far more than you think. 1. Starting the day with nothing in the tank. How many times have you skipped breakfast or grabbed something sugary or processed just to hold you over? How often do you go straight from your bed to the chair or the couch without moving your body, without setting any kind of tone for your day? That might not feel like a big deal, but over time it's like starting your car with an empty gas tank. You might get moving, but not far. Your body, especially as you age, needs fuel, hydration, and movement to function. And when it doesn't get that, your energy crashes before the day even begins. 2. Staying up late for no good reason. We all do it sometimes. One more episode, a little more scrolling, you get caught in the loop, and suddenly it's midnight. Again, the problem isn't just the late bedtime. It's what that late bedtime steals from you. Restorative sleep, clear thinking, emotional balance, and over time, your physical health. Sleep isn't just downtime. It's when your brain cleans out waste, your body repairs itself, and your nervous system resets. And when you miss out on quality rest, everything gets harder. You don't think as clearly. You don't feel as steady. You're less likely to move your body or eat well. You're more likely to feel down, anxious, or overwhelmed. And the worst part? The fatigue becomes your new normal. You forget what real energy even feels like. 3. Constant sitting and little movement. You don't need to run marathons to stay healthy, but you do need to move on purpose. Sitting for long periods is like telling your body, you don't need to do anything today. Your muscles weaken, your posture shifts, your metabolism slows. Even light movement, a short walk, light stretching, standing while talking on the phone, sends a powerful message to your body. I'm still here. I still care about this life. Movement gives you energy. Stillness, too much of it, slowly drains it away. 4th, letting your days blur together when every day feels the same, when there's no plan, no purpose, no goal. That's when your mind starts to shut down. Not because something's wrong with you, but because you're not giving it anything to reach for. This is a quiet kind of exhaustion. You might not even realize it's happening, but the truth is, routine without intention becomes a rut, and a rut is a perfect place for energy to die. You need a reason to get up. It doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. Maybe it's a project, a hobby, a walk, a call with a friend. Just something that makes you feel like your life still has shape, purpose, and motion. So, What's the solution? You don't have to change your whole life overnight, but you can start small. Try this. Hydrate first thing in the morning. Before the coffee, before the phone, drink water. It wakes up your brain and helps your body function. Eat something nourishing before 10 a.m. Not just a slice of toast or sugary cereal. Try protein, fruit, something real. Move your body early. A walk, a stretch, light chores. Get the blood flowing. Choose one daily anchor. That's one thing you do every day that gives the day structure. Maybe it's a journal entry, a puzzle, a short workout, reading outside. These little shifts might seem small, but they are powerful. Because when you stop letting bad habits drain you, you start remembering what it feels like to have energy again. And that's the difference between surviving and living. Let's talk about a kind of tired that sleep can't fix. The kind of exhaustion that hits you after a phone call, a visit, or even just a few text messages with someone who leaves you feeling completely drained. They might not mean to do it, but they do it anyway. They're what we call energy vampires. And the older you get, the more important it becomes to spot them and protect yourself from them. Who are they? They're not always loud. They're not always dramatic. Sometimes they come across as nice, but they leave you feeling small, tense, or just tired. Maybe it's the adult child who only calls when they're in crisis, but never asks how you're doing. The friend who turns every chat into a monologue about their problems. The neighbor who always needs a favor, but disappears when you need help. The sibling who criticizes your choices and brings up old wounds every time you see them. Energy vampires aren't always bad people, but they're people who don't manage their own emotions or needs. So they leave you carrying the weight instead. And if you're not careful, you end up holding everything. The cost of not protecting yourself. When you don't set boundaries with these kinds of people, here's what happens. You start dreading your phone ringing. You feel like you can't enjoy your own time because someone always needs something. You get overwhelmed, not from doing too much, but from being too emotionally available. You lose your sense of peace. And eventually, you stop showing up for yourself because you're too busy showing up for everyone else. But here's the truth. Caring about people doesn't mean you owe them everything. It doesn't mean you're responsible for their emotional state. It doesn't mean you have to be their therapist, their fixer, or their emotional trash can. In fact, real love includes boundaries. Because if someone truly respects you, they'll understand when you say, "I'm not in a place to talk about this right now. I've got a lot on my plate today. Can we catch up another time? I care about you, but I need to take care of myself too." Those aren't rude. They're not selfish. They are the words of someone who has learned that your energy is precious and limited. How to protect your peace without guilt. Here's what you can do. Notice how you feel after interactions. If you constantly feel exhausted, anxious, or emotionally wiped after seeing someone, pay attention. That's a sign. Limit your availability. You don't have to answer right away. Let the phone ring. Wait to reply to the text. Create a buffer. Be honest, but kind. You don't need to explain every detail. Just say, "I need some space today," or "I'm not available right now." You're allowed to have limits, even with people you love. Pour into the people who pour back. Not every relationship has to be 50-50 all the time, but over time, it should feel balanced. If someone only takes, reconsider how close you let them get. Here's what happens when you protect your energy. You start to feel calm again. You stop dreading your phone. You begin enjoying your own time without guilt. You create space for people and activities that actually lift you up. And most importantly, you remind yourself that you matter too, because you do, and you can care about others without sacrificing your own energy to keep the peace. You've done that long enough. This chapter of your life, it's about preserving your peace, not just handing it away. Let's be honest. This next one sneaks up on you. We're talking about screen time. You sit down to check your messages, then you open a video, scroll through some headlines, and before you know it, an hour's gone. You didn't plan to lose that much time, You weren't even enjoying most of it, but it happened anyway, and now you feel foggy, tense, unsettled, not refreshed, but drained. That's the reality of screen time in today's world. And it's one of the biggest, least talked about energy thieves of our time. Screens are everywhere, and they're not neutral. TV, tablets, smartphones, smartwatches. It's not just about entertainment anymore. It's become part of our routine. But here's what most people don't realize. Screens change how your brain works. They pull you into a constant state of passive stimulation. You're taking in information, but not processing it. You're scrolling, but not connecting. You're watching, but not resting. It's like eating junk food for your brain. It fills the time, but leaves you feeling worse afterward. Why screen time makes you feel so tired? Mental overload. Every post, message, or ad is input. Your brain tries to process it all. It gets overstimulated, and overstimulation leads to fatigue. Emotional drain. News, negativity, comparison, political debates, people complaining. It piles up, even if you think you're ignoring it. Disconnection from real life. The more time you spend on screens, the less present you are in your own life. You miss the birds outside, the warmth of your coffee, the chance to breathe and just be. And the most damaging part, it robs you of your stillness, the silence where reflection happens, the space where peace grows, that gentle, quiet energy that makes you feel centered again. Screen time before bed? That's a whole other problem. You may think falling asleep in front of the TV is harmless, but even low light and low volume stimulate your brain. They interfere with melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to rest. So instead of deep healing sleep, you get shallow, interrupted sleep. You wake up groggy and wonder why you're still so tired. Every hour of screen time before bed can delay the quality sleep your body so badly needs. What can you do about it? You don't have to go off the grid. You don't have to give up your shows or throw out your phone, but you do need to be intentional. Here's how you take your energy back. Create screen boundaries. Choose 1 hour a day to be screen-free. Mornings are ideal, but evenings work too. Replace, don't just remove. Fill that screen-free time with something simple and calming. A walk, music, journaling, even just sitting on the porch with a cup of tea. Watch what you consume. Pay attention to how certain content makes you feel. News that stresses you out? Unfollow it. People who complain nonstop? Mute them. No screens before bed. Try reading a real book, gentle stretches, breathing exercises. Let your brain unwind naturally so your body can rest deeply. Here's what happens when you cut back. Your mind feels clearer. Your emotions feel steadier. You start noticing beauty again, in the sky, the quiet, even in your own thoughts. You feel like time slows down because you're back in control of it. And best of all, you get your energy back, not from caffeine, not from naps, but from living more in the moment and less on a screen. Because energy isn't just about movement, it's about presence, and screens pull you away from it. You deserve a life that feels real, a day that belongs to you, not to your device. Start with just 1 hour and watch your energy return. Now, let's move on to something that hits close to home for a lot of people, especially those who've spent their whole lives being dependable, available, and helpful. You've always been the one people turn to, the helper, the caregiver, the responsible one. And maybe now that you're older, you thought life would slow down a bit. You'd finally have more time for yourself. But somehow, you're still busy. You're still saying yes to everything. You're still carrying everyone else's needs on your shoulders. And slowly, it starts to wear you out. This is what we call overcommitment. And it's one of the most common ways people after 60 lose their energy without even realizing it. What overcommitment looks like in real life. Your adult kids ask you to babysit. Again, you say yes, even though you had plans. A neighbor needs a ride, and even though you're exhausted, you say, sure, no problem. A volunteer group needs help, You were thinking of taking a break, but you sign up anyway. You cook the meal, plan the holiday, host the gathering, take the calls, remember the birthdays, and what's left for you? Not much. Here's the hard truth. Doing everything doesn't make you generous. It makes you tired. And eventually it makes you resentful. Because the more you say yes to everything out there, the more you say no to yourself. And that builds up over time. You don't just lose your time. You lose your peace, your clarity, even your joy. You wake up and realize you're showing up for everyone else's life, but not your own. But wait, what if you like helping? That's the beautiful part of who you are. You've always given. You've always shown up. That's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of. But here's the thing. You can still help without burning yourself out. The trick is to give from overflow, not from emptiness. That means taking care of yourself first, so you can help others from a place of strength, not obligation or exhaustion. How to stop overcommitting without guilt. Let's be honest, this is hard, especially if you're not used to putting yourself first, but it gets easier with practice. Here's how to start. Ask yourself before you say yes, do I truly want to do this, or am I afraid of letting someone down? If the answer comes from guilt or habit, pause. Learn the powerful phrase, let me get back to you. This gives you breathing room. You don't have to answer right away. You can take a moment to consider your energy and your calendar. Say no without the essay. You don't need a long explanation. I'm not available this time. That won't work for me right now. Short, kind, clear. Protect space for yourself and don't apologize for it. Whether it's a morning routine, a quiet walk, or just doing nothing, that time matters. It fills your tank. What happens when you stop overcommitting? You get your time back. You feel lighter. You stop dreading the phone ringing. You make room for the things you actually enjoy. You realize you don't have to be everything for everyone. And that, my friend, is liberating, because here's the real truth. Your value is not in how much you do. It's in who you are. And you don't owe anyone your energy just because you've always given it. This stage of life, it's not just about caring for others. It's about finally, lovingly, unapologetically caring for you. We should also talk about a kind of exhaustion that doesn't show up on any chart or scan. There's no blood test for it, no official diagnosis, but you feel it in your bones, in your chest, in your very spirit. It's called emotional labor, and chances are you've been carrying more of it than anyone realizes. What is emotional labor? It's not about physical work. It's about holding space for everyone else's emotions, needs, and messes, often at the cost of your own. You're the one worrying about how everyone's doing, even when no one asks how you are. You're the one smoothing things over after a family argument, playing peacemaker, even when it wears you down. You carry guilt for things that weren't your fault. You carry silence because you don't want to rock the boat. You carry concern about your children's finances, your grandchildren's futures, your siblings' drama, your partner's mood. And when you've been doing that for decades, it adds up. You might not see it, but your body does. Carrying too much emotional weight can leave you feeling mentally foggy, physically tense, emotionally numb, spiritually disconnected. You start waking up tired even after a full night's sleep. You stop enjoying things you used to love. You lose your motivation because there's no room left for you. That's what emotional labor does. It's invisible, but it's heavy. And if no one else helps carry it, it breaks you down from the inside out. You may be thinking, but that's just what I do. Yes, you've always been the strong one, the one who listens, the one who makes peace, the one who fixes everything. But let me say something you might need to hear. You are allowed to stop carrying what's not yours. Just because someone else is upset doesn't mean it's your job to fix it. Just because there's tension in the air doesn't mean you have to smooth it over. Just because you're capable doesn't mean you're required. You're not selfish for setting down the weight. You're wise. So how do you let go of emotional labor without feeling like you're abandoning people? Start small, start gently, but start. Here's how. Notice what's weighing on you. What worries wake you up at night? What burdens aren't yours, but you've been holding anyway? Say this to yourself. That's not mine to carry. It's simple but powerful. Say it when someone dumps their stress on you. Say it when guilt creeps in. Say it when your thoughts won't stop looping. Let silence be okay. You don't have to fill every awkward pause. You don't have to solve every problem. Let people sit in their own emotions sometimes. Get it out of your head. Journal, pray, talk to someone who listens without expecting. Release it somewhere real, not just inside your own heart. Ask for help when you need it. You don't have to carry everything alone. Whether it's a trusted friend, a therapist, or a support group, you deserve support too. And what happens when you release it? You feel lighter, you breathe deeper, you laugh more easily. You start to feel present again, not tangled in everyone else's feelings, but rooted in your own. You begin to realize you can be loving without losing yourself. You can be kind without always being the caretaker. You can be strong without carrying the weight of the world. And maybe for the first time in a long time, you start to feel like yourself again. Let's take a step back for a moment to summarize, give you that important conclusion, and look at what you might be carrying without even realizing it. Quiet habits that slowly wear you down. People who drain your spirit and never seem to give back. Hours spent on screens that leave you disconnected and restless. A calendar full of things for everyone else, while your own needs go untouched. Emotional weight you've carried for years because you thought you had to. No wonder you're tired. No wonder you feel stretched thin. But here's the most important thing I can tell you today. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not too old. You are simply overloaded. And the good news? You can take your energy back, bit by bit, boundary by boundary, one decision at a time. You do that by slowing down, by noticing, by asking, does this give to me or just take from me? You do that by remembering something we often forget. Your energy is sacred. Your peace is not a luxury. Your time matters. And the more you protect those things, the more fully you get to show up, not just for others, but finally, for yourself. Because this part of your life isn't about proving anything. It's not about being everything to everyone. It's about becoming whole again and finding joy, clarity, and rest in the simple truth that you've done enough. You've given enough. Now it's your turn. Which of these energy drains hit home for you today? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. And if this video gave you something to think about, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching. And remember, your energy is worth protecting, and so are you.